Part of the restoration process is bringing in these dehumidifiers and air movers to remove the moisture out of the soaked up carpet and furniture. Canada may be opening up its dairy markets to the U.S., but the focus in Arizona is on Mexico's tariffs on U.S. dairy exports that are not addressed in the trade deal. While this building will be a place for high-impact research for things like Alzheimer's, it will also be home to the world's first compact free electron laser. St. Mary's Food Bank will be out here all week in the days leading up to Thanksgiving, and while they're short turkey donations this time of the year, they're not short on volunteer work. Although all the cows here are organically fed and not given any steroids, Tim says at the end of the day, all it takes is a little bit of love. With temperatures creeping in the low 90s, the Department of Public Safety is warning parents with small children to take precautions to prevent drownings. If you're someone that's getting in shape for the summer, make sure to always stretch, as Men's Fitness says that most back injuries occur from people not stretching. With the recent rash of bike thefts and wheel thefts, police are urging students to use locks like this one that cannot be cut, and an additional lock for the back wheel so that can't be taken as well. If you're playing Fortnite Battle Royale, you're probably not the only one, as the game has exploded in popularity with more than 45 million players. Now, you can also play the game on your mobile device. It all came down to 1 out left in the bottom of the 10th inning. Cubs pitcher Mike Montgomery threw the game-winning pitch, a ground ball hit to third baseman Chris Bryant to end it all. The celebration began after a throw to first baseman Anthony Rizzo taking out Michael Martinez. And there you have it, folks. The Chicago Cubs win the 2016 World Series after 108 years. The men's team, on the other hand, gave Illini fans a sense of relief after 3 straight non-conference losses to Winthrop, West Virginia, and Florida State. The men won their ACC Big Ten game against North Carolina State 88-74. We're here in Urbana right now. As you can see, it's pretty overcast. We had some sun kind of peeking out earlier, but looks like some of that rain is going to start to come through. So now let's take a look at your fastcast. Tempe Police Sergeant Ronald Elcock identified the pedestrian as 49-year-old Elaine Herzberg, and Uber has identified the operator of the vehicle as Rafaela Vasquez. Sergeant Elcock says that the vehicle was in autonomous mode, but it does not appear that the vehicle attempted to slow down as Herzberg walked across the street. Since then, Arizona has suspended its self-driving Uber program pending the investigation. Autonomous cars sound like science fiction, but what if we told you that autonomous flight is coming our way? Reporter Victoria Valenzuela learned about the Airbus-sponsored research taking place at Arizona State University.
When President Trump announced a new trade deal between the U.S., Mexico, and Canada, Arizona dairy farmers were optimistic. But now, 3 days later, reporter Jimmy Jackson explains why some are saying, not so fast.
Everybody was just amazed that the administration was actively talking about dairy trade. No administration for decades had ever really talked about dairy trade as a major component of any deal.
Jim Boyle is the owner of Jim Boyle Dairy, and while he thinks this trade deal was a step in the right direction for dairy farmers, he is still skeptical of the short-term effects that it will have on the dairy industry.
It is nice to have the trade deal done, at least the language completed. And there's a little bit more access to the Canadian market than we had before. The new USMCA essentially just retains all of the old NAFTA deals with Mexico.
One of the key details ends Canada's Class 7 dairy products that price other countries out of its market and dump what they call cheap dairy products in the U.S. Canada may be opening up its dairy markets to the U.S., but the focus in Arizona is on Mexico's tariffs on U.S. dairy exports that are not addressed in the trade deal.
The issue that happened was that during the new NAFTA negotiations, we placed tariffs on imported steel and aluminum and other products from Mexico and Canada, which then forced Mexico to place a number of tariffs on American agricultural products going south. That was a big hit to us.
Arizona exports more dairy to Mexico than any other country, and Arizona dairy farmers say recent tariffs are hurting their profits. Still, Keith Murfield of United Dairymen of Arizona says, don't expect this to change the price of dairy products in stores.
I don't think what you saw here, you'll see really any difference in what the prices you pay. But it will at least least give the producers a chance that maybe in the future the milk prices will go up.
Boyle says the impact in the new trade deal will be small and isn't going to significantly help the struggling dairy industry. In Mesa, Jimmy Jackson, Cronkite News. Teamwork, competition, and the sound of victory. For student athletes, playing sports in college is a unique experience, and detaching from the social life and mapping out future plans are part of the thought process they go through, like ASU rugby player Ryan Carroll.
My plans are, come May, hopefully I'm going to move out to, the plan is to move out to Texas. I might have a teaching job, teaching high school U.S. history and government and coaching.
Ryan is a senior at ASU playing his final home game with his team, and says watching his team grow is what he will miss the most.
Rugby's also been a balance. It's been teaching me how to balance academics along with sports and making sure that get student athlete getting the work done first in the classroom and then coming out on the field and taking care of business. So.
While Ryan attempts to make a seamless transition to his first job, others like Travis Campbell, a former University of New Mexico soccer player, completed the transition, but it wasn't without a few bumps in the road before he got to where he is today.
Had 4 surgeries within 2.5 years of being in college, so playing after the fact, after soccer or after college, going pro kind of relied on my body.
His many injuries are what inspired him to want to become a physical therapist and help others just like him. But it wasn't before long until even that plan started to fade.
Science and those kind of classes and potentially losing my scholarship kind of made me go a different path, and really enjoyed psychology, and from my freshman year on I decided to do psychology.
Arizona State University is leading efforts to provide opportunities for athletes after their playing careers have ended. Its efforts include partnering with the Global Sport Institute and its CEO, Kenneth Shropshire, who says their key goal is to help athletes both complete their degrees and transition to the real world after sports.
A lot of the work we're doing is trying to pull together the best practices that other people are utilizing, and then also to take advantage of what ASU has available that's unique, especially things like the online education component. There's already a strong program within the athletic department of helping athletes once they've completed their degrees.
In his new book, The Miseducation of the Student Athlete, he stresses the fact that 98% of college athletes need to be prepared to find jobs outside of their playing careers and do well at them, while also mentioning the struggles of balancing sports, academics, and social life.
So especially today, and certain people that don't understand what goes on now, the amount of time that these guys have to put in doesn't allow them to have the internships, to have the regular student life, to engage in the kinds of things that you're talking about.
Travis's advice to student athletes is to set goals, but be realistic that going pro is not going to happen for everyone. Now he enjoys helping run his family's business.
Never in my life would I have thought I'm doing home improvement stuff when I've played sports and with psychology, wanted to do physical therapy. It's all nothing to do with home improvement, but no, it's been really fun and really cool to experience something different, I guess. But the pathway to it is definitely not the normal one, I would say.
In Phoenix, I am Jimmy Jackson. Thousands of people in cars lined up as they waited to collect turkeys and meal boxes for Thanksgiving. Some were there for food, and others were just there to help out. This year is particularly unusual for St. Mary's Food Bank's turkey drive, as they have seen a decrease in turkey donations to meet their goal.
So we should have enough for today and tomorrow, but if we don't receive more turkey donations from the public, we probably won't have enough on Wednesday.
His explanation for lower than normal donations might even surprise you.
I think that so many people have given to so many great causes over the last few months with all of the earthquakes and floods and fires that have happened. We've had a lot of disasters here in the last few months. A lot of people have opened their hearts, as rightly so they should.
St. Mary's Food Bank will be out here all week in the days leading up to Thanksgiving, and while they're short turkey donations this time of the year, they're not short on volunteer work.
We have more than 260 volunteers that are helping us over the 3 days. Over the 3 days, by the time we close our doors at noon on Wednesday, 12,000 families will be able to receive a turkey and all the trimmings that you need for a great Thanksgiving meal.
Not only did people give back by donating turkeys, people like Daniel Orozco gave their time.
I love coming out, volunteering. My wife and I both get involved in the community. Very fortunate to what we have, so we love giving to others and spending a little bit of time.
The meals provided will hopefully give people a chance to have a great Thanksgiving like the one Orozco will be having.
So this year we're spending it with my in-laws for Thanksgiving, and then my parents live up north, so we go up for north for Christmas, rotate the holidays every year.
They are still accepting donations as they are over 1,000 short of their goal of 7,000 turkeys. In Phoenix, this is Jimmy Jackson. The Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Sciences Illini Foresters invited the community out to support local restoration efforts by buying Christmas trees. Their annual Christmas tree sale took place at the Illini Forestry Plantation on the southwest corner of Ray Street and Windsor Avenue. Every year, the Illini Foresters come out to the Illini Forest Plantation to spread holiday cheer by selling Christmas trees. Austin Haskett, a former U of I student, president, and two-year member of Illini Foresters, comes to help out at their annual Christmas tree sale.
We've been out here selling trees for about 30 or 40 years now, and it's our main club fundraiser. We have a 40-acre forest plantation, and we do a lot of restoration work and weeding invasive species out.
The Ross family comes to the Illini Foresters every year to buy their tree and also like the nature of buying real Christmas trees as opposed to artificial ones.
We have been, probably 6 years. We enjoy coming, if it's on a school night, we go quick and get the kids from school and then come over here and try to grab it on the first night of the sale.
I think you get a better Christmas experience with real trees. You get the smell and everything in your home.
We really like having the fresh tree. It feels like, just...
And they're much prettier. They're much prettier. And they smell better.
They do smell really good.
Buyers are able to choose from Scotch pine, white pine, and balsam firs for a base price of $30 to $35 and $5 for each additional foot. The proceeds from this annual fundraiser are used to buy new equipment for managing the plantation and to offset the cost of camping and hiking activities for the foresters. In Urbana, this is Jimmy Jackson, US 7 Newsbreak.